Alright. Given that I have little else to go with, I'm going to continue with this project by reading. Hold on, I'm pulling some stuff up here. These are some so-called poems I did, 2016 looks like. These are called work poems. They're on my blog if you'd like to read along. And we're going to do the first, let's say 3. See how much time that eats up. I'm opening them now. Alright, hold on. Okay, so these are sort of just discursive things that I wrote on pieces of paper that were folded into fourths, and they're just, like I say, discursive. I call them poems because who's to say they're not? Alright, this is called work poem number 1. Well, piece of paper number 1 anyway. Collective punishment, the hallmark of a bad leader, as well as making decisions based on getting emotional. You've gone to Pizza Hut with glasses on. Things happening without my knowledge or participation. Barbie keeps her dreams in a house. Lance Ash and Space Limited Accomplishments present the Loath Procurement Publication number 1. I was spared any substantive consolation. Buy the hard cake. This technology that we have appropriated is reluctant to leave the building. Play standing with the soybeans from which they crept last year. Despite meridional progress, the faulty fixative is a townhouse and bar, miniaturized and left outside in the rain. All your fault, child. Cooped up in the coffee frost. As the 4 types of front bowed under the day after the election, I remember going to see Ron Wood, an individual that can't sit still, distinguished popcorn, but multiple exhaust pipes on the tractor gases and greases. I suddenly realized I'm living in a bad dream. I'm never going to vote again. And thus ran it so. Missing in greens, the dust-up continues. These dwarf buildings in which promises were exchanged. Sole early flat beetles hardly moving as decorations on the dress uniform. Coaching regrets the group has chosen matching familial pajamas. Time is about to start running backwards. Your sacrifice could mean the music. Alright, this next one. And I have no idea what this is supposed to be. Looks like there's a missing piece of a word. I realized that this was the game. Well, then it's all in your head, so watch out. If the fear is undefinable, then by definition it's an accident. Where the analogy breaks down is where we want to go. We are in agreement? Where the metaphor, same thing, breaks down is the difference between libel and slander. A jurisdictional toss-up of legal distinction. This is really happening in this sequence. Bear Green Bugle. Maybe my early experiences with cutting off that nerve or whatever it is on the back of the neck to produce that bizarre feeling that some part of your brain has gone to sleep. Maybe all that influenced my reaction to drugs. Maybe hypercalculated, incomplete airlock, current interest as a group. Stoned enough to see it one way and yet present enough to bring the object through to its physical manifestation. The way you felt when you first saw something. That can't be faked. Why? Is it because it can't be remembered fully and properly without a powerful trigger source? It's not necessarily things I believe, like intentionality. What amazes me is that all this stuff I've been doing and getting into before getting high turns out to be exactly the correct thing, exactly corresponsive to my pot mood. Neo-functional, neo-intentional, emasculation heights, crisp regiment unremarked by reputation, the elaborate inhalations that come before sobriquet and its fake cow. Alright, this is the third one. home of the fuzzy eyesore, Kithergy, the paucity of his mind, Jimmy Vaughan's. Death is not the end. The door closes long before that. The kind of person who hits the brakes when the light turns green. My signatory raft. Why do they need 1,500 vowel tassels? My years as a vegetable. If you're reading these words, you're not dead yet. Overall is quicker. Memory is your stand-in. Memory is impossible without your ability to divide yourself into multiple perspectives. Destruction was my barbecue. Creative indifference. My Noah. It is enough to know that I have made myself different. Different than before? Questions. Don't put stuff in your mouth. You're something of a spy, something of a mystic. Barbecue was my destruction. Sending out an artistic SOS. I want to be part of Hillary's paranoid projections project. Predictions. For years he had claimed to be working on a children's book called Hanrahan Stand, making of it all a game with unintentional punctuation. If it's an emergency, you'll break this rule, meaning these are, I want to go ahead and tell you now, these are copies of the actual pages that I wrote. These are handwritten, so it's hard to read some of this scribble. Chicken scratch, as my dad would put it. All right. And then I'll just parenthetically bring up something. When I was a kid, you'd learn to write, read, and write, but then somewhere around, I don't know, first, second, third grade, somewhere in there, you started to learn how to write in cursive. And I was so looking forward to it, as a child. I'll get to write like an adult, adult handwriting. But it was such a laborious chore, and it had to be done with precision. You had to copy it exactly, form the letters perfectly according to the copybook, And it was just such a painful experience, and the teachers were always on me about my handwriting, my penmanship. And my parents were on me about it. My dad would call my writing chicken scratch. Oh. And now, 50 years later, nobody gives a fuck. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was all wasted effort, heartache. All right, this one's called Work Poem 4. And this one is not much to it. Hold on a second. Big gaps on the page. I'm consciously entering a new phase. Avoid group activities. Avoid mass amusements. What's up with the flooding? Eternal recurrence. Soon I'll be living on an island, just like Christopher Robin. It's a shame that something good from his childhood became a source of pain. That's the English school system for you. At the funeral home, a tragic waste of a life. I agree, I'm trying not to waste mine. I see this funeral as a kind of symbolic pilgrimage, marking my new direction. Are you going to the actual service? No, I don't want to run into Penny. Vegetarian street food. I've often noticed that Europeans have a harsher streak than Americans, despite their aversion to violence on TV. If the propeller blade arrives unbroken, then we know that the employees have fulfilled their bond. Snort. Penny. The name is not meant for a cute little girl. It shouldn't be used on a fat slob. Oh, the name is meant for a cute little girl. It shouldn't be used on a fat slob. Most fat girls have names like Penny, Peggy, Paula, Petunia, or Pammy. Okay. Just for fun, we're going to read a fifth one, because that wasn't much of one there. Alright, let's see what this one is. Alright, let's do this one, and then we'll get out of here. Alright. The Solar Post Retrobrasion Shower Technique. This has been Woodchuck Chat with your host, my dad. A Telenegrini production, TWNT2. It is based on an old Mexican saying meaning hunt for it in Honduras. I don't want to dwell on a magic number, however temporary, overnight for some dubious outcome. I've been waiting for this just long enough. What manner of cat are you that are nurtured by roots from the ground? Well, where else would they come from? The vacation is an appealing concept because you think that by living like the idle rich for a few days, you will think of a way to become one of the idle rich. Rubber goulash, ghouls, and galoshes. I will take on the burden willingly, put down the bottle, take up the bong, and put that down too if it's taking too long. If no towel, turn knob. If no knob, turn towel. If no tail, turn state's evidence. If no away, turn over and drink it on down. Open your home to a cast of crazies, but it's all right. It's all a business, and you're the owner and the chief, wondering if his old face is a costume. It was one of those moments when you choose to go on living, consciously not longing for the kick-start over of death. As long as death sits in the room with you, where you can keep an eye on it, you can put it off as long as you need. Alright, thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.